The question of the existence of God has emerged in human minds since primitive times in one form or the other. The absence of direct evidence to prove the existence of God has led the curiosity of human mind and its imaginative power to conceptualize God in various different forms. In some cases, his presence is associated with physical objects, and in other cases, his physical form is kept abstract, but his characteristics are defined in humanized form. Every religion defines God as the divine supreme power who has the full authority and absolute control on everything. However, when the question comes to conceptualize this supreme entity, the concept of God is morphed through the humanized perception of absolute power and authority. A divine dictator with human sentiments. A theologically defined God is the one that gets angry or happy on certain human actions. When he gets angry, he violently and brutally takes revenge, and when he gets happy, he showers his blessings. His emotions and actions supersede natural laws, as he has absolute authority and control. He can defy laws of nature to bless a person or to manifest his wrath. Hence, the primary goal of followers in any religion is to please the God by performing specific acts of worshipping and beg for his forgiveness, mercy, and blessings. There is no role of logic and rationality when it comes to the matter related to God and his relationship with humans. In religious terms, the belief in God is structured on blind faith. The more a person deepens the blind faith and defy logic and reasoning, the more that person is considered to be getting closer to God. The concept of humanized God dictators survived in almost all religions for thousands of years due to various factors. The first and the foremost is the doctrine of blind faith, which is the foundation block in any religion. The survival of blind faith is hinged in the staunch opposition to logic and reasoning, against which blind faith cannot survive. Hence, the doors were strongly shut, not to allow logic, reasoning, and rationality enter into the religious domain. The limited understanding of scientific principles and hence a lack of rational-based education among common people did not create critical mass to challenge the religious blind faith based on logic and reasoning. Individual voices that challenged the blind faith were brutally crushed. With the advent of scientific revolution and the advancement of scientific knowledge, logic, reasoning, and rationality have gained firm grounds, and several religious beliefs have failed to pass the rationality test or evaporated against scientific evidence. Numerous myths that were presented as proofs of divine intervention, the so-called miracles, have now shown to be scientifically explained phenomena. The increasing contradictions between religious faiths and scientific knowledge and the inability of religious beliefs and practices to be explained on rational and logical grounds are leading a growing number of people from every religion to denounce their faith and declare themselves as atheists. A primary clash between theists and atheists is on the question of the existence of God. While atheists question the existence of God, there are two different perspectives among that group with regards to this question. One perspective is the denial of God's existence and the argument that the universe accidentally came into existence. The other perspective does not deny the existence of God outrightly, but argues that there is no certainty of God's existence, the so-called agnosticism. The internet and social media are full of debates between theists and atheists on the question of God, where both sides take firm positions and primarily aiming the weaknesses of the opponent. The atheist's argument that the universe was accidentally created and things happen by chance has a major weakness. The observation of the physical world along with scientific knowledge shows that processes in the physical world happen according to certain laws, and these laws are permanent, that is never changing, and are implemented everywhere in the universe. If the universe was created out of nothing by accident or by chance, how were these laws created and enforced? How did these laws get permanence, and why can no one change them? The theist's argument about the existence of God with absolute power and authority that can alter a law of physical process at his will for anyone who he wishes, the so-called miracles, also has a major weakness, that it is not supported by any hard evidence. Their argument gets further weakened when they personify God with human characteristics such as anger, revenge, happiness, and glory. It often fails the logical test that why God punishes people whom he has created at his own will for some acts, why he created something that would disobey him. If it is his will that his creation would disobey him, then why he punishes them? The primary issue associated with the question of God's existence is the concept of God. Both the theists and atheists, when debate on this question, whether in favor or against, conceptualize God as a unique being or entity and try to prove or disprove his existence. In traditional Islam, the concept of God is no different from that in other religions, a humanized dictator with supreme power. In traditional Islam, like other religions, the basic teachings are to worship him by bowing and prostrating as in traditional prayers, fearful of his anger, and requesting for his blessings, mercy, and forgiveness. A God who can shower a sinner with blessings if he likes his one good act and changes his laws for anyone he wants. A God who shows guidance to anyone he wants and then showers them with his blessings, or set astray anyone he wants and then brutally punishes them in the eternal hellfire. Interestingly, Quran provides a very different concept of God, which it calls Allah. The concept of Allah as described in Quran is very different from the traditional theological concept of God practiced by Muslims. In the next episode, we will discuss in detail the concept of Allah as presented by Quran. Thank you.